Bismillah. Greetings to my respected elders, my brothers and my sisters, and to all those who are not yet believers. I'm going to cover today letter from Mecca by our dear brother SNE4K0. Inshallah, you guys will stick with me here. It's only about a 10-minute video, mashallah, but it's really profound and kind of covers some of his personal thoughts and his personal experiences and how Malcolm X inspired him as a kid, alhamdulillah. So let's get right into this without further ado, brothers and sisters. Before we get started, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Share the content across your various platforms, inshallah. Also, you can go to my donate, PayPal donate, and also GoFundMe donate page to help support the Dawah project that I have going on still. I'm still looking for a location. I've had a few calls back, checked on a few locations that were ridiculously priced. Something simple that's passersby coming through the town can drop off the interstate here and coming off of Salat, or locals can come by and pick up Dawah information. As you guys know, there is no Dawah center in my town. There is no type of masjid, no Islamic center, nothing like that of the sort. So I'd like to give people kind of a solid location, a real live location that they can come in and ask questions about Islam to people, inshallah. So donate to that if you can, inshallah. So without further ado, brothers and sisters, let's get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
The first time I thought I understood God is while reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, the first real book my father had given me as a child. I remember the cover instantly made me shiver. I had never seen an expression on a face so determined that it was furious. I started idolizing Malcolm X. It's not often you find a civil rights leader that isn't cringy about it. Plus, he found a way to change his life in prison and gave himself a cool name. After finishing the last chapter, I went to the mall and bought the same glasses from the cover. From that day forward, it became my mission to give my words power too. To document growth as means of inspiration just like Malcolm did. I swore to embrace the uncertainty of change head on instead of fearing it like everyone else. There are 3 truths from that book that stuck with me for life. Number 1, a boy must struggle to become a man. 2,
I want to cover that one really quickly because that is a fact of life. And the problem today is my generation has been raised up with the mindset of, oh, I want to provide, excuse me, better for my children so that they don't have to struggle like I had to struggle. But the truth of the matter is there can be no progress without struggle. Whether that's physically, you want to make progress in the gym, you want to lose weight, etc., etc. It's hard. You have to apply yourself. It doesn't just take discipline, it takes sacrifice. And especially our young boys now, they're being raised up soft with everything handed to them. And as a result of everything being handed to them, what's happening? We are raising a generation of boys in men's bodies, essentially. And then we have women who are complaining we can't find no real men. Well, that's part of the problem right there.
the greatest threat to corrupted power is positivity. And 3, go to Mecca. The neighboring holy cities of Mecca and Medina are where Islam originated, where the Prophet was born and where he was buried. It's the destination Muslims globally pray towards as if it's the center of the universe, but Mecca's atmosphere alone will have you believing that. Mecca is the host to so many hilariously different walks of life solely off the collective intention to purify the heart. Visualize the madness of Times Square on New Year's Eve, but moving at peaceful chaos. A meditative energy so powerful and contagious upon arrival, it's overwhelming. Witnessing hordes of strangers naturally exist as if the passerby on both shoulders was their brother and sister. The simplicity of it is frustrating. Such a densely populated city commonly requires police ready in eyesight, yet the physical presence of security is nearly invisible. Right then, my confusion turned frustration was realized. The only real acting security here is God. Never has his presence been so obvious in every thought, every word, and every action than in Mecca. It's visible directly on the faces of the pilgrims. The look of calm determination and innocence. A combined bliss, sadness, and compassion. I went completely silent for days while my soul adjusted from its familiar chaos to unwavering peace. So I could finally lower my guard and pray fearlessly next to my brothers from across the world. So I could walk amongst a crowd of complete strangers with the confidence and familiarity of a soldier amongst his army. so I can look into someone's eyes and see it's a pure soul and not that little character created out of fear.
Yes.
The pilgrimage began in the city of Medina, where the Prophet led prayer and where he was buried. For days, I didn't utter a sound just to properly hear distant chatter between prayers. I listened to scholars and sheikhs share wisdom accompanied by coffee and tea. Every day at the sound of prayer call, I routinely followed, each prayer fixing the noisy...
Look how beautiful that is, mashallah. For those of you who have got to make pilgrimage to Mecca, mashallah, you don't realize just how blessed you are. There are a lot of us who will struggle and strive to be able to make that journey and won't be able to make it. So, if you have got to make Hajj or Umrah, consider yourself among the blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just to be in the presence of this, alhamdulillah. May Allah make that a reality for myself, my family, and all Muslims one day. Inshallah, ameen.
Static blocking my proper connection to God. I stayed silent while ego, depression, and fear desperately clamored for attention. Each prayer wiping away cobwebs covering my heart. I wandered the streets of Medina with both newfound maturity and an infantile carelessness, equipped with the understanding of perfect oneness the creation has with its creator. Armed with the realization no amount of drugs and therapy can supplement God. Reminded that although prayer in Medina is routine, back home it's replaced by weekends ritualistic drinking. I continued walking through the holy city just like the prophet before me, now fully aware of the uncomfortable truth. These coping mechanisms are mere bandages over the wounds of life.
Yes.
And there's nothing man-made that fixes damage done by God's creation.
That's right. You know, I oftentimes say this, and I'm going to say it again right now just because it's relevant. You cannot think your way out of a situation that you didn't think your way into. All right? You know, these are damages that, like he says, that done by God's creation, a.k.a. us. We bring a lot of these damages on ourselves. And then we wonder, where is Allah? Where is Allah? Where is God? The disbelievers, where is God? Who is God? There is no God. All these different questions. Astaghfirullah. All these different questions that they have ridiculous answers to or no answer at all. And instead of taking the time to give careful consideration to their own actions, their own choices, and what led them into this, they instead just disregard Allah, disregard God as if He's never been there. So it's really important to consider what he's saying. Alhamdulillah.
With every passing day, it becomes even more evident how the struggles of man will never be solved by worldly pleasures. How indulging as a means of distraction only grows the ever-increasing void in the heart. Each passing day reveals that the more glamorous the life is paid for by riches and fame, the more broken the soul is. Without God, they naturally worship celebrities instead. Living life completely desensitized because everything is dramatized and sexualized, while Mecca is the place that tells you to be grateful just for being alive. The path of the West is accepting a mind state of constant outrage and exhaustion, of false happiness and confusion. Of course a spiritual awakening among youth is imminent. Why else can someone who was raised on stimulation and made wealthy through fame finally find the truth in Mecca? A city where women appear like two floating eye slits under a cloak. Over a decade of seeking the next high to forget how meaningless it all is, only to find it wearing a white piece of cloth with my head to the floor. But getting revenge on opposition. Naked women at your fingertips. The whispers of temptation had never sounded less appealing. Nothing in this world is more important than following God, and Mecca is existing proof. And when it became clear my surroundings were the closest example of heaven on earth, the waves of guilt came crashing down. I finally found the truth I had been seeking, yet I couldn't shake this lingering feeling of despair, knowing this clarity was temporary. Eventually, I have to return back home to the place where prostitutes are celebrated, but the modest sisters who cover themselves willingly are called victims of oppression, where men become heroes for abandoning their family to dress like girls, where everyday people are tricked into worshiping the devil by worshiping themselves. I have to go back to the West. I should be fully present.
Just let me say very quickly, I hate to interrupt this, but man, shout out to Sneeko, my brother. May Allah bless you and reward you for this piece right here. If nothing else, for this piece, okay? May Allah bless you and reward you for this. I mean.
isn't here while I have the opportunity. But Mecca is such an idealistic sanctuary from everything I despise. The comparison robs it of some joy. In this world, a place exists away from hatred, from divisiveness, confusion, and emptiness, and most people will never realize it. A place exists where the very meaning of life is answered collectively 5 times a day, where she's my sister and he's my brother, and together we're united under our gratitude that God created us. If the world knew the truth of Islam, we would have peace, but we never will. The final day was dedicated towards the Kaaba. It's the first mosque ever built. Here, walking amongst my people, moving circular, almost in unison, connected in intention, but separated by design, like waves on an ocean, it never becomes more clear how no one here is better than the other. When you finally face God for judgment, He does not care what you're wearing. He does not judge you based on wealth or your fame or anything you seek in this life. We will only be judged on what we hold in our hearts. When I finished Umrah and looked at my shaved head in the reflection of the mirror, it was the first time since childhood I truly saw myself.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Aki Ayman, how are you? Man like Aki.
Let me. This is my brother, so I had to send a shout out. Look where we're at.
I promise, look at the view of Chef Osman.
Yo, chat. We got my. We're live right now.
He's active.
We got our brother Aki Ayman out there.
Of course, brother, inshallah.
Oh my God, you know how we do. The owner is a security guard himself anyway.
Hey, bodyguard, bro. Security guard.
Relaxation, brother, relaxation.
Check it out, man. How am I? This is how I am, bro. What can be better than Allahu Akbar, the best, most beautiful place? Habibi.
You have the best view, Allahumma barik.
That message you gave me when the sheikh's out, what?
Listen, when the sheikh's out.
Well, you gotta listen. And when the shanks are out, what?
When the shank's out, they shake about.
Hey,
That hits better with the UK accent.
Hey, what about the winner? The winner one, say it.
Listen, I said, I'm on whatever the weather. And if it's raining outside, you can get wetter than ever.
Ooh.
Hey, let's go.
Wetter than ever.
You don't know what they mean by wetter.
Yeah.
It's not about water. Nah, it's my brother Akhi Ayman Habibi. We're here. I missed you, so I thought I'd bring you live on chat. Inshallah. This is the united Muslim on the Quran and Sunnah. Alhamdulillah. Sneeko, Abdul Wahab, Akhi Ayman, my brother Uthman, all together, your brother Uthman, upon the Quran and the Sunnah, the way of the Salaf al-Ummah. We look at this beautiful sight. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. All right, mashallah.
When I was in 7th grade.
So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off, end it here. Inshallah, you guys found some joy and some benefit in that. I'm gonna tell you something. That's one of the most beautiful pieces, and the extraordinary heart that Sneeko put into that. Mashallah. If you guys didn't enjoy it, I know it was limited. I had limited interruptions for that video because how can you really expand on perfection? And that was almost a perfect piece. I give it a 9.9 out of a 10. And the only reason it doesn't get a 10 is because only Allah is perfect. But that was very, very close. MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all the brothers and sisters who went into helping produce and make that piece. And bless Brother Sneeko for producing or for making that piece and for writing that. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ameen, ameen. Brothers and sisters, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. And thank you so much for joining. Until next time, remember, stay strong as a sunnah. And there's only one God. And He alone is worthy of worship.